Item number 8, we do have a public hearing tonight. Notices have been published, posted, and mailed. Hold a public hearing and adopt resolutions authorizing the City of San Bruno to participate in the California First program and authorizing lead agencies to apply on behalf of the city energy efficiency and financing program grant funds from the California Energy Commission. Staff report, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. It's a pleasure to be before you tonight to discuss the energy efficiency and solar power initiatives that the city has the opportunity to be a part of. There are 3 separate yet very interrelated programs that we'll be discussing. The San Mateo County Regional Energy Action Program, which is a group of cities in San Mateo County as well as the county itself. The California First program, which is a financing program enabled by a joint powers authority between counties and cities throughout California, and Retrofit Bay Area, which is a program spearheaded by ABAG and its member counties. Lest I forget, the California First and the Retrofit Bay Area programs are also programs where we are co-applicants for grant funds that we're applying for the state, and so there are 2 resolutions authorizing entities to act sort of on our behalf in that grant process. But we'll get to that, but just so there's a little bit of background. Maybe the full screen version. First, take a quick look back at what was done back in June of 2009. The council authorized several different programs to be funded through an energy efficiency and conservation block grant, which is authorized by that stimulus act that was passed back in February, the American Renewal and Reinvestment Act of 2009. $3.2 billion from that act was to be distributed by the Department of Energy for energy efficiency related projects. A portion of that went directly to the city's over 35,000 population, of which San Bruno is one of them. We got $160,000 of that money. The rest of that went to the states, and so the states, California in particular, is distributing some of that money to the small cities who didn't get an allocation, and the remainder is going to be available through competitive grants, which, to make our application more competitive, San Bruno is partnering with a number of other cities and counties for some of that money. There were $160,000 that San Bruno has been allocated through the EECBG, Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant. We have $40,000 for a climate action plan, which is a plan that will enable the city to make concrete policy and program choices to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, both from city operations and from our community as a whole. $20,000 for an LED streetlight pilot program, $20,000 for energy study for energy efficiency and renewable energy study for our utility facilities. That'll be matched with $20,000 from our enterprise funds for a project cost of $40,000. And then a $80,000 for an energy efficiency retrofit program, of which $80,000 can be applied to the programs we're going to be talking about in a moment. We officially got the award only a few weeks ago, so now we can start spending this money and moving forward on these 4 projects. So the Regional Energy Action Program, that is the name that we are calling ourselves here in San Mateo County, with a collaboration between the cities and the county. REAP is for short. The goal is sort of 2 interrelated goals. Promote the construction of energy efficiency improvements to reduce energy consumption, things like weather stripping, insulation of walls, double pane windows, those sorts of things. And then provide a financing and incentive mechanism to both enable those improvements to happen for homeowners who may not have the cash to make it happen, as well as provide some financing options to install solar panels once your home is energy efficient. With those 2 goals in mind, we hope to achieve a 20% energy reduction within 1,500 homes in San Mateo County in the next 3 years. This is sort of a part of a small pilot program that we hope will kickstart a much broader movement in reducing energy consumption in the county. So there are 2 big components that will help make San Mateo County REAP happen. One of them is a policy and standards, and the other one is the financing piece. So the program called Retrofit Bay Area is spearheaded by ABAG, and there was concern that the cities and the county and the other counties in the Bay Area not do different programs and not have different standards for what constitutes an energy efficiency retrofit, which retrofit should be done first. For example, you probably want to do weather stripping before you put on solar panels, those sorts of things. So ABAG is spearheading a program called Retrofit Bay Area, which puts together the nuts and bolts to have a comprehensive program to encourage energy efficiency retrofits and construction, as well as the certification and training of contractors to make that happen. It's a pretty nascent industry at the moment, and this is also seen as a job creation tool to put construction folks to work. The other piece is the California First program, which is the financing mechanism to allow some of this to happen. So if a homeowner, property owner wants to do some efficiency improvements but may not have the cash up front, there will be an option through the California First program to finance those improvements and have them paid on their property tax roll. You may recall Berkeley initiated a measure similar to this a couple years back. This is a more refined version of that program and will be administered not by individual cities but by the agency California First, which is a joint powers authority and a specialized bond consultant to help raise the funds for that financing piece. So when you put the policy standards and the financing incentives together, that will allow the San Mateo County program to be able to market this program and encourage residents and contractors to take advantage of this. This is a little bit of a restatement there. The ABAG Retrofit Bay Area, and this is also the pieces that make up the grant applications that both of these programs will be vying for in the competitive statewide grant. So the Retrofit Bay Area program will look at the marketing, workforce development, quality assurance, evaluation, monitoring, the nuts and bolts. ABAG is taking the lead on this. The program partners helping with the grant application include BKI and Build It Green, which are private consultants working on the project. The California First program, you may hear in the future called a PACE, Property Assessed Clean Energy Financing, just a term that is not all that friendly, but you may just encounter it in the future. Basically, municipal finance, meaning that a government is able to finance the improvements on the property tax roll. Not that we as a municipality will be doing it, but our joint powers authority with whom we're partners will be able to finance both energy efficiency improvements and the installation of solar panels. The program partners include CSCDA, which you can also refer to as California Communities. That's the joint powers authority created by the cities and counties of California. They would be sort of the legal entity behind the financing program. Renewable Funding is the sort of bonding company handling sort of the backbone financial transactions. And then Sacramento County will be the lead applicant for the statewide competitive grant. And Ecology Action is a private nonprofit assisting with the application and early implementation of the project. The members of both the programs, the Retrofit Bay Area, obviously, most of the counties here in the Bay Area. For the California First, San Mateo County and its cities are part of the pilot program for this. So I believe there are 14 counties that are eligible to be the first to try this out, and so we're pretty excited to be able to be sort of at the forefront of this. Once the pilot program gets going, then it'll be open to all cities and counties within California. The available funding that may come about through this grant, so this is not for sure funding yet, but the ABAG is approximately a $10 million grant, of which approximately $790,000 may come to San Mateo County for our use as a collaborative program. For the California First program, I believe the total grant is about $16 million. About $370,000 will be available for San Mateo County. And then San Mateo County itself had a allocation from that Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant of $500,000. That's money that's locked up. They have will be spent on this program no matter what happens there. And then, as we mentioned earlier, San Bruno has $80,000 from its own EECBG funding that we can apply both to any costs that aren't covered that may occur if we don't get the grants, as well as any local distribution for to promote the program within our own jurisdiction. So we're very tentative on how might it work. Not how does it work, but how might it work. It's a little early, but wanted to give folks a taste of how this program is starting to come together. The homeowner wants to reduce energy consumption, wants to be more green, wants to reduce greenhouse gases. So they go to the ABAG website or the Retrofit Bay Area website. They choose a qualified, certified energy audit contractor. energy auditor comes to their home, does the inventory, says, hey, here are the recommended improvements that you should be making based on what the loading order is. The homeowner says, well, I'd like to do all those, but I can't really afford all of those, so they apply to the California First web portal, apply for a request for a loan to do those improvements that they choose to do. After approval and construction of the improvements, the California First then sends a check to the homeowner sends a check to the contractor, and then the repayment of that loan is done on the property tax roll over a specified period of time of the loan contract, 5, 10, 20, 25 years. We're expecting program rollout to begin late 2010. This is a new and ambitious program that will take a little while to get rolling, but that's how we hope it might look and the timeline that we're probably looking at. A few pending program details. We have to figure out here locally how best to market the program to our contractors and residents. There'll be a region-wide effort, but we'll also need to target that locally within our cities and county. There is a strong discussion of creating a community advisory committee to help with the workforce development portion of this piece, the training of the contractors and building inspectors, and determining what types of subsidies could be used to qualifying homeowners to help subsidize the direct cost. So with that said, then there are 3 different resolutions before you. The first was what required the public hearing. This is a requirement for the California First program that we hold a public hearing and provide notice in the paper 5 days prior to council action. And that's to join the California First program, to actually enroll and say we want to be a part of these 14 counties and cities to be part of the program. The second 2 are resolutions authorizing agencies to act on our behalf to apply for grant funds. So first for Sacramento County as the lead agency for the California First program, and the ABAG to apply on our behalf for the Retrofit Bay Area program. So I'm pleased that at this time I'm happy to answer any questions that may come up with this project.
Any questions of Mr. Shannon?
Thank you. It's very exciting to see all this come together. I just have one question. It might be too early in the program to know, but is there any feeling about what the interest rate might be for the loans?
So we think the interest rate is, because these are new financial instruments, the market for the bonds may not be as strong as we would like. So part of what that grant that California First is applying for is to help buy down that interest rate. So we think the interest rate is going to be somewhere between 7 and 8.5%. So the hope is, I think, maybe to buy down that by a percentage point for this pilot program. And then once the market sees that these are sort of viable instruments and the loans are working, it will reduce the market price of the interest rate going forward.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? At this time, we'll open the public hearing. Anybody like to speak on this item? Okay, if I close the public hearing, you are precluded from speaking on this item, and you should know that now. I'll entertain a motion.
So move.
Second.
Motion second to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. So moved. We have 3 items, 3 different resolutions. One is actually for the resolution authorizing the city to participate, and the other 2 are for the agencies to act on our behalf. Is that correct? Sacramento and ABAG.
Everyone's looking at me.
We need to do these,
Do you want them
Pamela,
separately?
3 separate.
Together?
Probably separately would.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I'd like to introduce the resolution, all of them, but I'll start with the first one.
To join the California
Councilmember
First.
O'Connell,
Aye.
Councilmember Salazar,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Medina,
Aye.
Mayor Ruane.
Aye.
And then the second one, which is it's authorize the financing.
Councilmember O'Connell,
Aye.
Councilmember Salazar,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Medina,
Aye.
Mayor Ruane.
Aye.
And then the next one is to authorize Sacramento County as the lead agency to apply for the state energy program grant funds.
Councilmember O'Connell,
Aye.
Councilmember Salazar,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Medina,
Aye.
Mayor Ruane.
Aye. All right, thank you.